Is Lego a better investment than gold? That's what we're going to be talking about today in this video. Welcome back, everybody. It's Jordan here. Believe it or not, I actually have a pretty extensive knowledge on both subjects. That's investing in Lego or collecting Lego and also investing in gold. So today I'm going to be providing my educated opinion on the subject, and we're going to find out if Lego is in fact a better investment or is more lucrative than gold. First off, I want to state that I think both investments, that's Lego and gold, are very good to store wealth in and very good to invest in. They're going to allow you to hedge against the inflating dollar and make a little bit of money on the side if it's done correctly. So why are we talking about this today? Well, recently an article was published online stating that Lego is in fact more lucrative than gold and has risen 11% annually. In fact, when you Google, is Lego a better investment than gold, that article populates on the top of Google. And actually, this isn't new news. This article has actually been around for quite some time. Maybe it was a different publisher, but when I first started collecting Lego in 2015, I remember seeing this article as well. So let's start by talking about Lego. In fact, I want to talk about a few different sets that have done really well over the last while here, both in the short term and also in the long term, and this being both inexpensive sets and expensive sets. The first one that we're going to talk about is the 20th anniversary Slave 1. And for the sake of this video, all of the prices are going to be in US dollars, but this one here originally retailed for $120 and it's worth roughly $200. Next up, we have the Flintstones set. This one here recently retired. It originally retailed for $60 and is now worth $80. The UCS Y-Wing is a great example of a set that has appreciated in value. Originally it retailed for $200 and now it's worth nearly $400. I think the biggest and best set that everybody thinks of when it comes to Lego investing is the UCS Millennium Falcon from 2007. It originally retailed for $500 and is now worth about $2,000 to $3,000 when it's brand new, sealed in box. Keep in mind, that's what we're talking about here. Brand new sealed in box sets, not ones that have been opened up, built, and played with. However, the UCS Millennium Falcon from 2007 has recently had a reissue, and once upon a time it was actually worth a lot more money. I think it was retailing for around $8,000 to $10,000. Maybe that was in Canadian dollars, but it was worth substantially more than what it is today. And that's one of the things that we have to factor in when investing in Lego, is the fact that the Lego group sometimes remake sets, such as the Taj Mahal, the UCS Millennium Falcon. Even the Y-Wing was technically a remake, but definitely these sets do retain value and go up in value over time. A smaller set that has done quite well is the Mickey Mouse Brickhead. Originally retailed for $10 and now it's worth $60. And of course, modular buildings always do really well. The Downtown Diner, originally retailing for $170, is worth about $270 now on average. And these prices were all derived from Bricklink, which is like the average to low selling price. And also the Detective's Office did really well as well. It originally retailed for $160 and now it's worth about $400, and that set originally was issued in 2015. And there are thousands of examples of Lego sets that have appreciated in value over time, and it's just something that happens. Now let's talk about the price of gold. Currently, right now, when we're making this video, gold is worth about $1,800 US dollars per ounce, and this is a 1 ounce gold maple leaf. You can buy gold in coin form or in bar form, and you can also buy them in different sizes: half ounce, quarter ounce, 1/10 ounce, a 1/20th of an ounce, and also 1 gram increments. This in particular is a 1 ounce gold maple leaf, so it's worth about $1,800 US dollars, and that's based on today's spot price, gold physically in the ground. So overall, the price of gold is very volatile. It moves up and down just like a stock, and there's a couple different ways that you can buy it. You can buy it physically like this here, or you can buy it on paper, where essentially you're buying it as a stock or commodity. The difference between owning it in your hand is you actually have possession of it, which is really cool. So the price of gold has been very volatile. For example, in 2021, the opening price was $1,946 US dollars, and in 2016, that's 5 years earlier, The price was $1,075 US dollars. In 2011, 5 years prior to that, it was $1,405. So you can see that gold is quite volatile, and sometimes it even goes down. However, when we jump back to 2006, which was 15 years ago, gold was worth $520 US dollars compared to its price today at $1,800. In 2001, gold was worth $272, so it's gone up about 10 times roughly, give or take, depending on when you buy it. Because once again, it's very volatile. Gold's prices are always changing and fluctuating based on the stock market, based on the amount of money in circulation, based on supply and demand, and stuff like that. Now, the interesting thing about gold is when you go back to the 1970s, it was only worth about $40 an ounce. And we've seen prices up around $2,000 depending on the time. So gold is what I would say to be a very good long-term investment compared to Lego. The prices have gone up substantially more than Lego in a long-term circumstance. And in particular, I think gold and silver and precious metals is probably one of the best investments right now in the current market. Why is that? Because there has never been more money in circulation. During COVID and everything like that, the US government and governments around the world have been pumping money into their circulation, meaning that their dollar is going to be worth less, and gold and silver have always been a hedge against inflation. So I really strongly believe that that gold is I just said Lego, that gold is going to go up in value substantially over the next 5-10 years once we have to fix this inflation. Now, I also think that Lego is a great investment as well, and I want to talk about good ways to invest in Lego if you plan on doing it. Always buy Lego on sale. Always buy Lego when it's nearing retirement. And always buy Lego when there's promos on. That is essential. And the most important thing when buying Lego and investing in Lego is to always do your research. Not all sets go up in price like the UCS Millennium Falcon or the UCS Y-Wing or the Mickey Mouse Brickhead or the modular buildings. You have to be researched and you have to be educated on the subject if you're going to make money buying and selling Lego as an investment like gold. Now, the really neat thing about investing in Lego is it can be a little side job that you can buy and sell Lego and it can fund your Lego hobby. And that's one of the coolest things about Lego investing. So now we're going to do a little bit of comparisons with Lego and gold, not from a dollar perspective, but an ease of investment and which one is ultimately better. So I have some notes here. Of course, I've been reading notes because we have a lot to say about the subject. But buying Lego as an investment is essentially the same as buying other collectibles as investments, such as sports cards, TCG, or trading card games like Pokemon cards. Also action figures, paper money, other rare coins, stuff like that. The prices will always fluctuate. But what I think that calls for is a certain set of skills or a certain knowledge to invest in this stuff. In order to invest in these collectibles correctly, such as Lego and trading cards and also sports cards and all of these different things here, you have to possess the knowledge of what to buy, when to buy it, and how to sell it, and where to sell it. Whereas gold is actually a really easy thing to buy and sell. You can buy it from your local coin dealer. You can buy it from a local bank. Here in Canada, they sell it at Scotiabank or TD. Or there's West Edmonton Coin and Stamp. Or there's other communities online that are selling gold here in Canada online and also all over the world. So gold is a lot easier to liquidate and a lot easier to invest in than the collectibles because you don't need the knowledge. You can just go to the bank and buy it, hold on to it, and go to the bank and sell it, and it's easy to sell. So ultimately, I think that gold is a lot more liquid than Lego because gold will always have a value. Whereas Lego is going to be a little bit harder for you to sell. If you're going to invest in a UCS Y-Wing and you bought it for $200 and now you're looking to sell it for $400, what's the key difference between selling this gold for what it's worth today? This gold is worth $1,800 today no matter what. the UCS Y-Wing is only worth $400 to somebody who's looking to buy it in a retail circumstance. So when you go to sell your Lego that you've hoarded away and invested, and you have to sell it on bricklink.com or on ebay.com or on your local classifieds, and it becomes a job. You have to list it, you have to package it, you have to deal with the shipping, you have to deal with all the communications with the buyer. So there's a lot of work that goes into selling your UCS Y-Wing that you bought for $200 and now is worth $400, in comparison to walking up to the bank or walking up to a coin dealer and simply selling this coin like that. So I think there's a lot more work affiliated with the ultimate end game sort of sellout or end game plan of you selling all of the Lego that you've invested in. So if you were to buy 50 UCS Y-Wings and they doubled in price, but now you have to package and ship 50 UCS Y-Wings. So if you were to buy 50 of these and they were to go up 20%, then you could just go to the bank and sell them and they'd cut you a check like that and it would be done. So I think gold is a lot more liquid than Lego, in the sense that it's a lot easier to sell than Lego. Something else that can be a problem with Lego investing is the fact that it takes up so much room. If you were to buy 20, I don't know why I'm using the UCS Y-Wing, but let's call it 20 UCS Y-Wings that came out, that's $4,000. They doubled to $8,000. Where are you going to put 20 UCS Y-Wings? In here in this room? Yeah, it's going to take up a lot of room. So eventually when you're stacking for your retirement and you're investing in Lego for your retirement, well, now you've got a room full of Lego and it takes up a whole room. Whereas this right here is worth 3 Titanics. Pretty much. I don't know. I didn't do the math on that. But this is worth 3 Titanics right here in this small little spot. So the storage aspect of investing in gold is a lot better than the storage aspect of investing in Lego, because Lego takes up a lot of space. Also in regards to storage, so now that you have all of this Lego stored away and it's taking up a whole entire room in your house and that's your little investment fund for the future for retirement, the issue is how are you ever going to move? So it becomes not as movable, it's big, it's clunky, it's really hard to store away and then eventually move later on. So I just think that from a perspective, gold is a lot easier to invest in and sell and stow away in comparison to Lego. The problem is with investing in Lego for your end game or for your retirement is that you have to service the sale, you have to work really hard to sell it, it essentially becomes a business, and you have to store the stuff away. Not to mention when you go to sell it, if your sales exceed 20,000 here in Canada, you have to register a company and start charging GST as well. So you essentially become a company. So it's a lot different when you're selling that, whereas all gold sales are actually non-taxable. It's all tax or GST exempt. Another thing that I want to talk about in regards to investing in Lego right now is it seems like everybody and their cat is investing in Lego right now. Lego is at an all-time high. There's the most amount of people collecting Lego and trying to become Lego resellers, especially when there's articles like this on the internet. Now, the problem with Lego in comparison to gold is Lego can be produced and produced and produced in mass quantity, and there's no end to it. They can produce as much as they want. They can come out with a new UCS Millennium Falcon or a new Taj Mahal, and they can keep producing it, and people will keep investing in it and trying to resell it and trying to become Lego resellers. So the problem is that there's a little bit of market saturation that could potentially happen with Lego, is they could keep producing it and there could become more and more resellers, and then therefore this 10% or 11% growth annually could start to go down because there's more and more people that are collecting it and more people that are actually reselling it. So I think maybe the bigger it becomes and the more people that are investing in Lego, I think we might run ourselves into trouble as Lego investors because there's more and more people that are actually doing it. So ultimately, in the end, I think that Lego and gold are very good investments for the future. I think Lego should be a short-term investment that should be used to fund your Lego hobby and to have a little bit of fun on the side of your Lego hobby. Maybe you buy, once again, the UCS Y-Wing for $200, and a few years later after it retires you sell it for $400 and you made yourself $200. But should you buy 20 of them and take up an entire room in your house and have to service 20 sales to make $4,000? Maybe not. I think gold is a lot better for the long term. I think you're going to be able to invest in gold, and then in 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, when you look at the charts, you're going to earn a lot more money with investing in gold for long term for retirement. If you're investing in gold in 2001, for example, once again, it was $272, and now it's worth $1,800. Whereas if you were hoarding a Lego set away, it would be rather difficult to, sell that in 20 years and make the same return that you made on gold, and it's going to be a lot harder to sell. Also, the storage space of it is a lot more difficult. So I think both are great investment vehicles, but I think they should be treated differently. This one's more like of you selling Lego on the side as a side business and making money on the side and sort of funding your Lego hobby, whereas this one here is just storing away and investing for your future and your future retirement. So there's my thoughts on the topic of, is Lego better than gold? Obviously, there's a lot more that I could say in both subjects. This is just a little bit of information and knowledge that I have. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff coming out in the near future. And thank you so much for coming on by. Have a great one.